Next week is EA Play, and this means big announcements and reveals for Battlefield 5. Now, EA has invited me out to Los Angeles for the week, so I'll be at the event capturing whatever content they have planned to show off, and I'll be bringing that back as well and releasing it here on the channel as soon as I'm allowed to. But we already have some general ideas about what it is that we can expect that DICE will be showing. Next week is going to be quite a big one for Battlefield fans, so let's bring you up to speed on what you can expect throughout the month of June. Right then, first of all, there is going to be a small patch dropping for the game next week. It's patch number 3.5, and I believe this is going to add the new Outpost game mode to Battlefield 5, although that's not 100% confirmed, it's just that's what I can see this patch being for. And that game mode is going to be the focus of a future Tides of War unlock, and I believe that's the last Tides of War unlock available in Chapter 3. Now, for those of you that don't know, Outpost is a limited time game mode that's going to ask players to construct radio towers on the map, which will attract recruits to their team. Whilst you're building your towers, you'll also need to defend them from enemy attacks who can damage and even destroy them with certain explosives. You're also going to need to go and attack enemy towers as they build theirs as well, to do exactly what they're trying to do to you, to them. You can upgrade your towers once you've built a base structure as well, and these will earn you more recruits. Now, in the second half of the game mode, the Elimination Phase, the objective is rather simple. Attack the enemy team's towers and destroy them, either by arming bombs that can be interacted with at the base, or by using your own explosives. The amount of time that you have to destroy the enemy towers is dependent on how many recruits you earned in the first phase of the game mode, and at the same time, the enemy team is going to be trying to destroy your towers, so you're going to have to split your focus across two different places. It sounds like a really interesting game mode, something very different from what we've had so far from Battlefield 5, and I'm excited to give it a go later on in June. Something else that we're going to be receiving next week is a blog post, and it's going to update the content roadmap for chapters 4 and 5, which I've got to admit is slightly surprising. The last roadmap that dropped back in March, that laid out a very general direction for the game, and if truth be told, players weren't exactly wowed by the pace that content would be arriving, nor the content that was actually revealed within the roadmap. And it didn't help that the chapter 5 box was literally greyed out, so why even bother releasing a roadmap if you're not actually going to tell people what's happening? Well, whether the rather disappointing reaction is the reason for this update or not, we are going to see an update to the roadmap. And that says to me things are being moved around and more is going to be revealed. For Chapter 4, Defying the Odds, that's going to start later on in June, we were set to see the launch of the 5v5 game mode and the maps associated with that, the Marita map, which will then combine with the just released Mercury map and form a brand new Greek Grand Operation, which sounds awesome, and we're also going to get the yet unnamed Urban Combat map, and that's going to be some kind of reimagining of a map that veterans will love. And again, we still don't really have a lot of information about that yet. But besides what's coming in Chapter 4, and of course that's going to cover the next 12 weeks for Battlefield 5 once Chapter 3 finishes, what's got me most excited is that if the roadmap is going to include Chapter 5 content once it's updated, I would like some official confirmation of that Pacific Theatre. It's been leaked to high hell from all the data mines that have been happening, and we're almost confident that that is going to be the brand new theatre of war, but so far, still no official confirmation, and I could see that being officially confirmed next week if we're going to learn about Chapter 5. And I'm really stretching here, but I'd love to know how many maps we can expect from that new theatre as well. I'm not sure if that's information DICE would be happy to release at this time, because we are still quite a few months away from Chapter 5 yet, but it would be awesome to know how many maps were coming in the future. Next week as well, and this plays into that theory that the content within Chapter 4 is being somewhat shifted around, we are going to get 2 brand new trailers for Battlefield 5. One of them is going to be for Chapter 4 in its entirety, since we are only a couple of weeks away now from that launching, and then we're going to see a separate one for the Marita multiplayer map, which currently isn't set to release until July. which is a good 4 weeks away. Why would you release a trailer in June for a map that's coming in July, especially when the last map trailer that you released, the one for Mercury, that released only a few days before the map ended up releasing? I really have got this feeling that DICE has brought forward the Marita map into June and pushed back that 5v5 mode later on into the chapter, and that's in order to deliver the content that the core community is really looking for at the moment, as opposed to a game mode that perhaps the core community isn't really that bothered about. The feedback from the core community for months on end now has been for more multiplayer maps to be added to Battlefield 5, and if the Marita map could be released in June instead of July, and that's provided it is finished and it is ready to go, then I think it makes sense to bring it forward, especially with it being quite close to the Mercury map, and then it would sort of tie the two together in a much better way. But with the trailer for the map dropping next week, possibly as part of the EA Play show, we're surely going to find out if DICE has really changed their plans or not. As for the general Chapter 4 trailer, that's going to be interesting as well. We might get a look at that 5v5 mode and the second map for multiplayer, Urban Combat as well. I'm not 100% sure if we will get a look at that second map, since it isn't set to go until August at the moment, but you never know, we might get a brief look at it. And then, at the end of next week, we have EA Play itself, and there is going to be a Battlefield live stream happening. It's going to be hosted by Adam Freeman, part Welsh, the Battlefield community manager, and it's going to be running for about 30 minutes in total, so there's plenty of time for things to be revealed and detailed a little bit further, and of course, it's always the details that I'm looking for. At the moment, I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in that live stream. I assume we'll get some more information about content that's going to come for Chapter 4, and again, maybe a little bit of detail about Chapter 5. But I do know that Adam was over at the Stockholm offices just this week, and he was likely gathering all the info from the team over there so that he can put on a good stream. Now, you can tune into that stream later this week. I've put the graphic up on the screen for you now so you know when it's happening. And if you want to follow what's happening at EA Play, then you can go and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both of those are linked down in the description for you. I'll probably be tweeting out and taking some pictures of what's happening, so you guys are always up to date. So, that's everything that we currently know coming in June for Battlefield 5. And now, I just want to give my opinion on a couple of things, so if you're only here for the info, then you can click away off this video now and you don't have to listen to my opinion in the next section if you don't want to. I want to sum up my feelings of the Mercury map. I think DICE and DICE LA did a great job with this map, and since its release, it's been the only map that I've played in Battlefield 5, so that's 4 straight days of about 3 hours apiece playing nothing else apart from the Mercury map. It's not perfect by any means. I do think the town is in need of a little bit more fortification detail in order to make up for that heavy destruction that's on offer, or maybe even some more destructible cover down there so gameplay doesn't break down too much. And I think the radar site needs a bit of work to really deepen the gameplay opportunities that it offers. Up there's sort of a lot of empty space with not really much going on. I think that could be filled with a couple of extra props and maybe even another barracks building or something like that. And the airfield at the start of the round of breakthrough, I think that needs a bit more solid cover scattered across the airfield, since gameplay can break down very quickly at the start of rounds. But overall, it's a map that I'm really enjoying, and it's great to have a new experience within the game for the first time in 6 months. I know it was a long wait for it, but at least the map that came up at the end was one that everyone could really engage with. Lots of different types of playstyles are on offer, whether you like playing in planes, whether you like infantry combat, whether you like ground vehicle combat, everything is available to you. And yes, it's not a perfect map, but I think it's a great map, and with it coming after 6 months, I'm always going to play that map the moment it comes out. I didn't think I'd play it as much as I have. I really do enjoy it, but overall, I think DICE did a good job with this one. So, there we have it. Like I said, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening at EA Play for Battlefield 5 next weekend, then make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm going to be using those a lot whilst I'm out in Los Angeles, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well, and you've got notifications switched on, so that when I upload any content from the event, you'll see it straight away. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.